So of course, software development team use so many software. Git is one of the software that we use to store code, to see the visibility of the code, to see the what has been changed, who has changed, and then when it changed. And then Git also provide the collaboration between the developers, between the cloud ops, between the quality assurance, between all the people. And the Git provide the branching. Git provides so many things. Actually, Git makes the life much easier for the development team. And this is the special software we use day-to-day basis in the development, during the development, and even after the development. So what it actually does, what do we do, and let's continue that. So if you heard when developer write the code, it is on my computer. Means I write the code, can be the, when you say the code means anything actually. Code means you're writing a code, you are doing something, and then you want to store somewhere else. And then the writing the front end code, writing the back end code, anything, it's a code. You need to push the code in the Git. So Git is a server. Git can be on the cloud. Git can be hosted on your specific on-premises server, or Git can be used as a SaaS-based solution. SaaS-based means you subscribe the Git from the Git company, means whoever is providing, and it is called the remote. So Git is called remote. Whatever I do from my computer is called the local. So I communicate with the remote over and over. So remember this wording. So what we do, so let's walk through the process. Let's go with the local environment is independent of any hosting, as it is kept offline and runs on the local machine or server. This is an efficient and cost-effective way of adding test environment without worrying about the paying multiple environment. It also adds benefit being independent internet connectivity, so you can work on your project whenever and wherever and whenever. Most developer run and build their code in this environment. So local means, of course, I'm writing the front end code, I'm writing the back end code. I actually write on my computer and I need to test it and I am done. This is actually I'm doing it because I am the developer. And this is called the local. You said the host, right? Yes. You said the host. Host is the computer is called the host. Now, if you call the local host, means your computer. If you call the remote host means remote machine. If you ask me the host concept more, there is a workstation, there is a host. Whenever you hear the host means like a server. Whenever you hear the client means my laptop is a client. Means client is like just performing regular work. And the server is actually the non-stop, like a application. You just deploy your Node.js based application website on a computer. It actually serving you means serving the workstation user or any end user. So when you type www.ts4a.us, our server means our host is actually active. But on the other hand, workstation you can shut down anytime you want. So local environment is where you write the code, where you do activities, everything else. And the server or the cloud or the host means it is actually continuous running. It never stops. If it stops, there will be a large, what is called the announcement. If you stop a server, as a DevOps engineer, you need to inform everybody. Hey, this is the server is going to be shut down for next 15 minutes. We are running some maintenance. Next 15 minutes, it will be unavailable. You have to announce it. If I shut down my computer, do I have to announce anybody? No, because server is serving many people. 1 people to the million people. You see the difference? Okay, and let's go. How can I do this? Okay, development environment. and the quality assurance environment, staging environment, production environment. So basically in every project, every application you see, the ts4u.us, Agile ALM, IT ready, itinterviewready.com, each of the application, the platform can have a 4 environment. So this is the question start. 4 environment means each of the environment can have their front-end server, back-end server, database server. And front-end server can be 10 front-end server, back-end server can be 50 back-end server, database can be 4. So each environment can have their group of computers, front-end, back-end, and database. So the development environment has the less resource because only the developer use. Where developer work means the test their code, that's called the development environment. Where the testing team dedicatedly test code, the same code, that's called the test environment. Remember, I use the word same code. Can you mute? Emil, can you mute? Hello? Okay. So can someone remove it? Okay. So that there will be Jamil, you need to come sit down here. Stand by here. That's good. Okay, so test environment is where actually the testing team use the same code. Remember what the same code. And then another environment is called the staging environment. Another environment is called the pre-prod. Another environment is called the beta. And the final environment is called the production. So many environment, actually it is based on how the company name them out, how the company name, that's it. But there is some meaning. Testing environment, nobody has question, it is only for the testing team. Pre-production means very close to the production. Okay, that's the way the business actually want to use the whole application or the specific user story, how it works. So the business team means operation team can learn and they can create the documentation. They provide the presentation with the team member so the operation team can use. Beta for many applications, beta environment is important. What it is? Beta environment means Postman, right? Postman is an open source application. Am I right? Postman is an open application. Open application means everybody can download and use it. So Postman decided to create a new feature, okay? And they developed it. After they develop, they actually put this code into the beta environment. And they said, and they actually send like a email to their 2 million users. Hey, we just roll out a new feature. It is in the beta environment. We are welcoming you to test it out and give us the feedback. They're also fixing the bug. They're actually accepting the feedback and they're actually combining all of this. Once they get all of this, fixing all of this, then finally they push to production. Okay, and it's also called the canary environment. If you go download the Postman Canary, it's called the canary environment. It's kind of the asking people for the feedback, also slowly implementing the new feature. So the summary is environment name or environment specification based on how the application is. So Postman is a given example. That is the open application, that is when they develop something and they want to share with all the people, because if user get angry, they will not use anymore, right? So what they did, they actually, before they go to the production, they actually deploy the same code into the beta environment, beta servers, and they send a mass email to their 2 million Postman users. And they ask, hey guys, we just roll out the new feature. We're open to know. You can test it out. provide us the good and your positive and the negative feedback. That's what they do. So now this user cannot be just angry with the postman anymore, right? And then based on all of this feedback, they fix the bug and they roll out to the production. So now the long story short, all this environment are created by the CloudOps engineer. All this environment maintained by them, owned by them, managed by them. But the question is, where they get the code? They get the code from the GitHub, from the GitLab, or the whatever the code repository company use. So now the question is, the 5 user story we have gone over: sign up, sign in, update profile, delete profile, right? All this code, the front end code has the own bucket, own repository, we call it. Back end code has the own repository or own folder. Okay, and this code will go to the 5 environment: development, test, staging, pre-prod, beta. After all of this done, then finally it goes to the production. So the question will be, where development team actually start? What is the lower environment? Lower environment means development, test, staging, pre-prod, beta, all called the lower environment. And what is the production environment? Production means actual users use it. There is no testing user there. There is a test user, very limited. And all this environment maintain, own, create, delete by the DevOps engineering team. But they're doing the same code. Same code. So what are the changes then? So as I said, development server, they have their own database, own IP address, own URL. Test environment, they have their own computer, own backend servers, own front-end servers, own database, and the own address, means test.ts4a.us. Staging environment, same thing. They have their own database server, own front-end servers, own backend servers, own address, staging.ts4a.us. And if you have more environment, we will be creating more environment. And then finally, production has no wording. Production is ts4a.us. So you see how much work the DevOps people do behind the scene? We are asking what they do actually. That's what they do. They manage them all. So now you can ask question, man, this is like so much work, right? Same shit you have to do manually, right? Same code you have to do every day. Because we write the code every day. We write the code every day. Now DevOps engineer has to push this code every day, right? Every single day, all this environment. Don't you think is very cumbersome manual work? Yes, it is. It is manual work. You can do 1 day, you can do 2 days, 3 days. 4th days, you'll be doing it manually, but the use quality will be suffering because your manual work taking long time, and then quality assurance does not have enough time to perform the testing, and it is a concern. It is not a fault, it is a concern. It will cause your production slow, and your competitor will take the same application on live and they start making the billions of dollars. And your company goes down because the deployment make all the differences. Automated deployment, the code deployment, nowadays actually differentiate a company who is actually the best, who is low. We can take our code in 2 seconds to production. So other companies, an example, GM, they have to take 15 days. So if I compete with GM, who will be winning? I am going to win because I am pushing the code every day. And GM is taking 15 days because they have a manual process. And that's the reason, see the small companies application, they buy $7 billion, $10 billion. Why? Because they do not have any bullshit politics behind the scene. Push, keep developing, keep pushing. And all this difference, actually the DevOps culture. Means you write the code as soon as possible. You push the code in every environment, get the testing done, push the code in production, your customer have the code. Okay. So again, and this all done from the Git. All this work done from the Git. So if we have a 10 developer work on the 10 feature. Do not ask me what is the feature. And 10 developer has their computer and they have their own Git account. They have the 10 repository, means 10 separate folder. I'm just telling you the story now, how the Git works. So he push his code, Amjad repository. You push your code, Zahid repository. Okay, everybody push their code. So everybody is writing the code based on the user story, push the code. Now we have 5 more environment. Remember, 5 more code repository. What is this? Development, test, staging, pre-prod, production, right? So do we have 5 more separate folder or the repository. So now you have to, everybody's code need to be merged. His code need to merge development. His code need to merge development. Everybody's code need to merge development. From my name to development repository. Good. Development testing is done. And now the same code again, his code need to merge to the test environment. Everybody's code need to merge to the test environment. So then testing team can come, start testing. Again, the same code have to start merging to the staging environment. So that staging code base is updated and need to be tested, done. And then same thing need to be done in the pre-prod repository. So from his code, it has to go to the pre-prod repository. Everybody's code need to go. Testing is done. Now the final is release, which is now everybody's code has to go to the prod repository. Then the application go live is in production. So see, all this hard work is done by the Git. All this hard work done by the Git. So in this, during this, like the life cycle, anything happen, Git can manage everything. Means you push some code, it causes issues, you can back it down. We call this, pull the code. You push some code in the staging environment and QA found a bug, pull the code. We pull means get it down. Means your previous code is fine, your new code is cause the issues. So you'll be hearing the push code, pull code, versioning code, merge code, cloning code, Git, commit, all of these things you will be hearing in the Git. Yes, push to origin, create branching. As I said, everybody is working. We call the Git, we call the branch. We call the branch. His branch is different, his branch is different. Then we also call the front end branch is different, back end branch is different. Make sense? And then each of the, again, the environment is, as we said. So if the 8 developer is working, they have 8 branch, and then we have a 5 environment. So in the 5 environment, there is a front end branch, back end branch, front end branch, back end branch. So you have a 10 more branch. So code has to go all the same way. Okay. So after the break, we will be actually typing, like doing some like the what is called some diagramming. It will make sense to you guys because you guys all will be studying the Git soon. All the students, the February Cloud Ops, you will be studying the Git soon. Because if you do not understand the Git, actually the Git is everything nowadays. Git can do so many work for the development team. That's the you make life much easier, much faster. And the Cloud Ops team, they actually live on Git. The life is started on the Git. Any issues, they come to the Git. You need to get the new code, they come to the Git. They need to pull back, they need to come to the Git. So they actually manage another tool, they manage Git. Another tool they manage called the CI/CD pipeline. As I said, that you can do all this manually, or you can actually do the automated way. Means no touch, no human touch is needed. The moment Amjad push the code from his computer, all things will be happening automated. You don't need to touch anything. That's called the CI/CD pipeline. That's also their core job. They're creating the CI/CD automated pipeline that nobody needs to do manually. Everything will be happening automated way. So that also done by the Cloud Ops team. So this is their actually the core job. And Git start when the developer finish the code, and you actually repository creation, merging, conflicting, the rebaselining, creating the branch, manage the branch, and the multiple branches. This actually the core job of the Git. And the Git implement by the each company different way. Coding and the implementation things is always different, because based on your environment, based on your application complexity, based on your team decision, you just implement your way. Okay, this kind of things, there is no like the one way, or there is no right way or wrong way. If one company started implementing all the wrong, they are wrong. Nothing they can do it right. And they will start fixing them. If some company, they do start everything start with the right way. Not every company knows all of this, but they just use this kind of tools, implement the infrastructure, and deploy the code. So what do you have the next? Staging environment we discussed, very separated. The same code, but the everything is entity is different. Live or production environment, that's actually we call the live. You hear the word live, hey, we are live today means it is not in the lower environment anymore. It is actually customer will be using. So we call the production environment. And then we'll start actually it come to the postman. So all the lower environment are have to be tested properly, thoroughly, and then things goes to the production. So we are going to use the postman, and then we will see what you can do with the postman, the basic things, and all of the work you can actually manage. You can set up with your team. You can share with your team. You can do some the functional testing. You can do some positive, negative testing. Is all done by the postman, because that's where actually the backend logic you can test it out. And everybody worry about the backend. In the application development nowadays, the 99% concern goes to the backend, because that's where everything is driving. So of course, you as a DevOps and the CloudOps engineer, you don't worry about the code. You just need to know how, if this endpoint is working or not. Can I test it? If it is just I'm just running the endpoint, it is working, I'm good. If it is not working, I don't need to go to the code, right? You don't need to the code to find out why this code is not working. That's not your job. So that's the one we'll be doing after the break. So in this, now we can give you a break so you guys can ask the question.